when I die, don't bury me at all. Just place me away in alcohol. My 44 laid by my feet. Please tell them I am just asleep.
We've got another one. Do you know who we've got today, guys?
Yeah, we do.
He was the hardest man ever in British football. He's been recommended to us personally by Joe Allen. Let's say Mickey Quinn gave the River Nile quite a shot in the Nile.
He did, yeah.
He really did. Let's welcome Billy Whitehurst!
It's just a lunar fast monsoon on the banks of the River Nile. Here comes the boat, only half afloat. Osman grins a toothless smile. Only just one more to this desolate shore. Last boat along the River Nile. Doesn't seem to care, no more wind in his hair.
Yes, indeed. We got Billy Whitehurst, former Hull, Newcastle and Sunderland striker, friend to Mickey Quinn, which makes him a friend to the show. Morning, Billy.
Good morning, Jimmy.
How are you, mate? You all right?
Sounds a papa.
Okay, the first thing we've got to talk about is Sailor Mick. Nicky Quinn. He said he had a girl in every port. Did you ever meet any of the ladies that Mickey was associated with?
No, I didn't into that, Jimmy. Great player, boss trainer. I didn't have him down as a womanizer or a woman man like, but if he's, I don't disagree.
Hey, wait a second, Billy, you're breaking up a bit. It sounds like you decided to disguise your answer by talking in Klingon. Have we got a clearer look? We're going to get Billy back. Go to the planet. Let's go to the planet Nile, where we had a bit of a splutter here with the engine, didn't we? We didn't quite start.
Yeah, the phone line wasn't working.
The phone line wasn't working. It sounded odd. We just heard raincoat, Mickey's bum. But here now is Billy Whitehurst.
It's just a lunar fast monsoon on the banks of the River Nile. Here comes the boat, only half.
Morning, Billy.
Morning, Johnny.
Oh, that's
much
better.
better.
Oh, it's bliss. Absolute bliss. We couldn't hear you before, so I'm going to ask you again your memories of Mick. We had a Mickey Quinn secret. I don't want this show to be every week just homage to Quinny. He is a legend. No one knows his stats better than he does. He's a self-declared ladies' man.
Did you play together?
No, didn't
No,
play.
he didn't. He was after you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was after me at Newcastle. Yeah.
He told me that when he arrived, they were all full of the trail of destruction that you'd left. You were infamous.
Is that true, Billy?
Probably, yeah. I had a good time at Newcastle, but left on a bit of a sour note. I walked into the middle of the pitch and flagged all crowd, so it didn't go down too well. So
What, hey, wait a second. You slagged all crowd. What did you say?
flagged them off. I
sent a
stuck two
signal.
fingers up.
Yeah.
Did you?
Wow.
Fair play. You were gonna. What?
I tell you what, ballsy call.
That is very brave.
Call. It's a one-team town. I got to tell you, muchos cojones, eh?
Billy, was part of you wishing that some of them would come over the fence?
No.
Do you think you could have taken them all?
All of them.
One at a time, maybe, Johnny. You know what I mean?
To be fair.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, like
Billy,
Horatius and that bridge. Yeah, right.
Billy, is it true you once spent the whole game commentating on the match in the voice of Tommy Cooper?
Yeah, me and Keith Edwards. Yeah.
Was that for Hull?
Yeah, Hull against Bournemouth.
Go on, give us a
Can you give us a bit of it?
Give us a burst.
It just says, I've got good feet. It says, over, and things like that, you know. Well done, Tommy.
More! Come on!
The centre-halves didn't know what was going off like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when they'd had an elbow inching, you know.
And how did that come about? Was it a bet?
Keith Edwards, he was a great goal scorer.
Yeah.
It was just, we would just talk. We'd been to see like a Tommy Cooper show in Hull, a life story of Tommy Cooper, and we somewhat pathetic really. We went on pitch and he'd tell like Tommy Cooper and I was Tommy Cooper, and he scored a couple of goals and he said just like that and all that, you know.
Well, for a whole game, you're like, I went on the centre back.
I've got good feet, yeah.
I went on the
He said,
centre
get on that couch. I said, what for? He said, I want to sweep up.
The centre back was injured. He said, it hurts when I move my knee like that. I said, don't do it.
Was Hull your best? Was that your favourite club?
No, I mean, all were great times. I mean, but every club where I was. You know, I had a great time at every club I was at. Probably worst one was Oxford. I enjoyed it myself because I was always at ground track. It's shut now, Cowley Park. But
can I say that's a great quote for us?
No, he trains dogs. You train dogs, don't you, Billy?
I've got grounds now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the best thing. You said you were at some terrible clubs. You're at Oxford United. You had a great time because of the Greyhounds.
Brilliant.
Correct. I didn't say I was at some terrible clubs. I said Oxford probably what worst club.
Oh, you
No, he said he loved all the
He
clubs,
loved
but
all the clubs. Oxford was the worst of
But
them.
I was at ground track most of the time, and I used to get slagged off by my own supporters at Oxford.
Did you?
know? I went to have a warm up one day with Dean Saunders. You remember Dean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing, yeah.
And we were warming up, and all our crowd, Oxford crowd, was shouting, "Whitehurst, you fat blah blah," fat B.
Yeah. We know that word.
Yeah, you know it. And get back to dog track and all this thing, and I'm like flagging my own supporters again. You know what I mean? Dean says you can't do that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I mean, did you see them as supporters still?
I just saw them as monkeys behind a cage.
No, but I'm going to say, because there comes a point where you've got to say they're not really my supporters.
No, yeah.
There comes a time when a man is literally flicking V's at another group of men, and they are slagging him off for preferring to be with greyhounds. There comes a time when you've got to go, you can't even call them the fans.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, when your own supporters are giving you that, there's something wrong in there.
There's something wrong. But what was it couldn't have been the main source of their grievance. Couldn't have just been the.
Don't dump that!
Can I just apologise for his use of that word there? I don't know
That's the best quote! That's the most honest thing anyone's ever said about football.
It's the most candid moment we've ever had there. Just to recap, why you've just missed something. Did you dump it? Yeah, I just said, why didn't your own supporters like you? It was a moment of candour, which we will celebrate forever.
Absolutely.
Right here on the warm-up.
Absolutely. Warm up.
Yeah.
You'll be able to hear that on the podcast in full, because the podcast is obscene.
It is, yeah.
Okay, Billy, you still there?
I'm here.
Can I ask Billy, when you went to China,
Yeah.
what was that like? How did that come about? Because you were in Northern Ireland with Glentoran, and suddenly you're in China in the same season.
Yeah, well, what it was, I mean, I was playing for Glentoran. They wanted to shut me because they couldn't afford my wages. Well, it wasn't so much my wages. I was only on £200 a week, but I was staying in a hotel, and I mean, it was great because we only trained twice a week. But in the hotel, one of the directors owned the hotel rate, and I used to get up about like 11, 12 o'clock afternoon, go and have a big steak and chips and all that. Then I'd go into the bar and have about 10 Guinnesses, go back to bed for a few hours, get up and then stay up while 4 on all Freemans, you see. So the hotel bill were about £1,000. So they were only giving me £200 a week wages.
I can see what you've done there.
I mean, that's when I went to Hong Kong. I played for South China, and when I went, they were third bottom at league. We ended up winning their FA Cup. We got to the final of the League Cup, and we finished second in league, and I was the leading scorer.
Isn't it weird though, with the population of over 1.3 billion, and that's South China. So you got to say half it for men. So that's what 700 million men. Out of 300, they've got a possibility of 350 million men, and they've got to come to England for Billy Whitehurst for a bit of backup.
That's brilliant.
What I want to know is,
Awesome.
so did you score in the cup final or anything like that?
Yeah, I scored in cup final. Yeah, and just to reiterate what we're going off there, and obviously we turned it round, and at the end of the season the coach says we had 99%. Or he said it in. We had 99% said then we keep you next year.
Whoa. That's a different thing. Go on, just tell us in English.
Well,
In
he
South
said they
York.
were 99.9% certain they'll keep me next year. And anyway, that point 1 came up, and they didn't keep me, and they sent me home, and I went home. And then the year after, I got signed up by another club at Hong Kong, and I went back, and they said, we can't understand why South China don't keep you. Right, and I says, well, and I've got a jug of Carlsberg in my hand now, and we've just got there off plane, and we went for a meal, and he says, I says, well, I says they said they were 99.9% certain they'll keep me. I says, but they didn't. I didn't know why. He says, We asked them. I said, and what did they say? He says, you drink too much. I said, all right, I've got that big jug of Carlsberg. He says, but you drink as much as you want if you play well for us.
How lovely. You must have thought this is the club for me.
Yeah, I only play one game.
If you
Did my
play well for us,
cartilage.
you said what?
I only played one game, and I did my cartilage, and they had to pay me 15 grand for me to come home. So it was happy days.
Oh man, happy days. Happy
Do you
days.
ever-
Tell you what I did. I've got a mate in London called Gorgeous George. He's a black cab driver, right? And he picked me up at Heathrow Airport, and he drove me straight to Cheltenham. Right, went to Cheltenham
Oh, no,
races
God, stop
in a black
racing,
cab,
man.
and I lost 15 grand in 3 days while I was here. I did
Oh,
nightmare.
no. You didn't bump into Quinny, did you?
Yeah.
Never bumped into Quinny, no.
But it seems to me there's quite a network of you at the racing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know about now. I mean, when we were playing, it's a different game now, isn't it? And to be fair, you couldn't lose, I wouldn't imagine, money they get. But then it was a bit boring, you know. Football,
Well,
you
do you know
were
what?
training at 12 o'clock, you finished at 12, so you could get in bookies. It was.
The trouble with football now, Billy, as I always say every week, is the focus is so much on football.
I think.
Whereas back in your day, that just went on. You know, it sort of, you know,
It's
it was
a distraction.
It was in the diary. It was a sort of date you had to keep every
But it
week,
wasn't
but it wasn't
everything.
important.
Yeah, it interfered with social life a
It
bit.
did.
Like.
It sounds like it got in the way.
Yeah.
Billy, do you ever play anymore, like just a kick around with your mates or a charity match or anything?
Kick about with my mates. Now I've got 2 hips. I've got two false hips in. Right. Two hip operations. I'm worth more in scrap now.
And is it true you work in a power
Did you
station?
ever kick around with his mates?
Yeah, well,
I work in a power station, yeah, for Dawson Power.
and is it at all like the power station in The Simpsons?
Not at all. There's a couple like Mr. Burns that here, like.
And what do you do? What do you do there? I've never met a bloke who works in a power station. What do you do?
As little as possible.
But I expect no drinking on duty there.
No.
Listen, thank you very much. Simpson, eh?
Simpson, eh?
Who are you nominating for next week's Journey Down the River Nile?
Dave Hall.
Dave?
Hall. Harle. He played for Leeds United, Bristol, and he's good mates with Snoddings and all that.
What's nice
right.
about this is that James is looking like David. Oh,
No, I know Keith Edwards played for these. David Hall.
David Hall. And I'll tell you something now, he's one of them players, like bread and butter players, what never had a bad game because he always give 120%. And you know, if you give 100%, you can't have a bad game.
You can't have a bad game, exactly right. Listen, Billy Whitehurst, thank you very
Can I
much.
just ask you something, Johnny?
Yeah, go on.
Where have you gone, mate? You know, I sit there, I'm being serious here.
Yeah.
You know when you were on telly and all that years ago?
Yeah. It's a long
You just
time ago.
went off the planet. What
know.
happened? Because, I mean, witty, good-looking, great. And what happened to you?
Okay, one word made up of 2 smaller words. Talk sport. That's all you
Yeah.
need to know. 11:45, right here on talkSPORT. I don't know. Do you know, I look at myself in the morning, I ask myself the same question.
Who are
should be
you?
back on telly, John.
I say, what happened? What happened? What happened? The answer is the warm-up, right here between 11 and 1 every Saturday. Who could ask for anything more? It's
Exactly.
11:45. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Whitehurst!
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you.
That was Billy Whitehurst there asking, I think, the most important question anyone's asked for a long time at the
It's
end.
such a pity that we had to drop that. His reply
Oh,
it was
to
brilliant.
I was getting.
Wasn't it awesome?
That was the most honest thing anyone has
Anyone
ever said
ever
about
said.
football. A football admitting he wasn't.
In all its glory.
Yes.
They leave it on for that.
Yeah, they'll definitely
They
be
will
on.
do, yeah.
The most honest thing ever said by any
The
footballer.
most concise and to the point
It was
statement.
the brevity,
It was, yeah.
the soul of wit. It's 11:46.
3 words.
We're back in a couple of seconds.
Now when I die, don't bury me at all. Just place me away in alcohol. My 44 laid by my feet. Please tell them why